नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. So we continue our journey into this correspondence with Shri Aurobindo by Dr. Nirodbaran. Anybody can recollect one or two points that we saw last? We take ahead. Yes, please. Anybody? We saw Dr. Nirodbaran wanted to take French classes, of course. But apart from that, anything related to sadhana, something that we can recollect? Anybody?
Yeah,
Yes,
we
Aditi. Yes, Aditi, and then Shashiji? Maji?
Okay.
Yeah, okay,
talked
Aditi.
about Sakshi Bhav, how one should
Okay.
be Sakshi to one's behavior, emotions, and
And
something.
thoughts, isn't it?
Yeah, yes. And there was also one question about dynamic meditation that I found interesting, and
Yes.
you also told us about mental, physical, vital, all kinds of integral, they form parts of integral yoga,
Yes.
and something about universal mind also. We should always be
Yeah.
strong and connect with right influence.
Yes, Ji. Fine, Ji. So, yes, thank you, Aditi Ji. Yes, Shashiji, Maji, you were adding something?
Yes, I just wanted to say that I was quite surprised when it was mentioned that mother wasn't aware about certain things about
Yeah.
Sri Aurobindo,
Yeah.
and I found that quite amazing. It just for
Yes.
me it went to show that mother is so busy on so many
Yeah.
levels with so many things.
Yes. Yes.
That
And
stuck in my head.
yes, Ji. And that humorous side of what we can say, Sri Aurobindo was there, it was known, but among the sadhaks. But this level at which he came with Nirodbaran, that was like a privilege which Dr. Nirodbaran received. And the mother was also very happy to see that correspondence. So
Yes.
let us, yes, Ji. Let us continue. So here we start on April 1933. Nirodbaran is written, I feel a great longing to express myself in literature, but sometimes it gets mixed with a desire to be a great writer. But on the other hand, my language is poor, style immature, and thoughts meager. So Dr. Nirodban wants to become a great writer in literature because of his great desire for that. But it is getting mixed because he says the language is poor, style is immature, and thoughts are meager. Basically, he is calling upon grace to transform him completely. We've heard of this, mokam karoti vachalam, or the power of transformation. So he is now putting the onus on Sri Aurobindo. Let us see. Sri Aurobindo
I
replies. Yes,
I must say
Anjali, you
that's
were
an
saying?
well, I must say that's an understatement because he was such a great poet. I also wanted to share. I've had this good fortune of teaching one of his poems in the postgraduate class where I was teaching in a college. I had
Whose
taught the
poems you're
poem
talking about?
Aurobindo's poems. Oh,
Sri Aurobindo's poems. Yes, yes. Ji.
uh, so no, but this statement was made by Aurobindo? No.
No, 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 no.
Yes.
Nirodbaran. Nirodbaran
Sorry,
is
sorry.
writing.
Okay,
Nirodbaran is
sorry.
writing to his
Okay,
guru in
okay,
the
okay. Sorry
correspondence.
about that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I got it. Yeah.
Ji, ji. Fine, ji. So he's writing that. And interestingly, later on, Nirodbaran himself became a great writer, and some of his poetry was also very beautiful. And I mean, not some, more all of his poetry, but Sri Aurobindo also appreciated it afterwards. One interesting thing about Sri Aurobindo was about how he allowed poetry also into the sadhana as a means for sadhana. for expression of and for development and growth of consciousness. Like writing down our thoughts is something, but if we are able to, you know, poetically channel that inner creativity, it can become a part of our conscious movement. An interesting friend of mine was a great poet. I mean, he is a great poet. Unfortunately, I am not very much in touch with him now. But during that time, some of his most beautiful poetry was remarkable, and he had a difficulty in controlling his emotions. And somebody diagnosed him also with a disorder, a bipolar disorder, and then he was taken to his psychiatrist, and his parents forced him to go to the psychiatrist. But when I asked him what was the psychiatrist talking, because we had an understanding on a level with each other, so I quite humorously said, the psychiatrist and I have become very good friends. We discuss so many things, and he just tells, "Don't tell them I'm." We are talking normal stuff. Do not tell that. We have discussions. And that time, the psychiatrist also told him that it is a opening of a spiritual faculty to be able to write. It is something a lot of sadhaks develop certain talents as the sadhana goes ahead. Talents which are sometimes latent, talents which are sometimes hidden, or talents sometimes which feel non-existent or not present. I remember when I first started writing to, like meeting Namleji and going, I still have that handwritten diary. I would ask him, "What is consciousness?" He said, "For you, what is consciousness is not question. Tomorrow it will become the most marketed word. It is going to have a big market. For you, one shouldn't use the word concentration. Forget about consciousness right now. For you, it is concentration." That was what he told me. And during the correspondence, I would ask him questions like, the time there was a end of the world was going to come. All those questions also I had. I was just 21, I think, when I first met him. That time he wrote, "Who knows, maybe someday you will write a book." That day when he told it to me, I was, what, I will write a book? How is it going to work out? How is it going to happen? But afterwards, by grace, it is possible. So everybody's evolution, it is there as the sadhana moves ahead. Here, Sri Aurobindo is now encouraging Dr. Nirodbaran to pursue his, faculties, even allowing him to, though he's a doctor, he has to try to learn French also. He has to try to, all this is used as a sadhana. This is a very interesting aspect of integral yoga or Purna yoga that uses every aspect as a madhyam for sadhana and how these experiences are got. So we will get a chance to follow the journey of Dr. Nirodbaran. So here it is recorded that he says his thoughts are meager, his style is immature, and language is poor. But I think Shashimaji knows Dr. Nirodbaran used to take classes also, isn't it, in school?
Oh, he did what we call the high course.
The knowledge.
Well, yeah, no, the high course, after you finish your first
Okay,
12 years, then there are three more. Like I call it the
okay,
university kind of thing
okay,
for me.
okay. Yeah.
Yes, he used to. He used to take depending on what subjects one had chosen. So I was
Yeah, yeah.
talking to my sister and I asked her that
Ah,
was he ever your teacher? And she said, no, I didn't choose a subject that he was teaching,
yes,
but they
yes, yes,
all knew each other because in those
yes.
days, if memory serves me right, those high courses classes were conducted in the library.
Okay, Ji. And very, very knowledgeable, Dr. Nirodharan's words and this, like afterwards, people would look to him to connect with Sri Aurobindo. So here we see a young Dr. Nirodharan. It is very sweet also that we can see his thoughts right now. He says, "I want to be a great desire is there." I'll repeat it, and let's go. Let's continue. So Dr. Nirodharan has said, "I feel a great longing to express myself in literature, but sometimes it gets mixed with a desire to be a great writer. But on the other hand, my language is poor, style immature, and thoughts meager." Sri Aurobindo replies, "There should be no desire to be a great writer. So desire is in quotes. There should be no desire to be a great writer. If there is a genuine inspiration or coming of a power to write, then it can be done. But to use it as a means of service to the divine is the proper spirit. So, how does one use this faculty of writing? Sri Aurobindo has given the master, as Anjali ji has told, she has taught poems to the children. Sri Aurobindo's beautiful poetry. He has given the key to become great. Is not to be want to be great. Don't have a desire to be a great writer, is what Sri Aurobindo says. There should be no desire. Then what should be the aspiration? Well, he says to use the writing as a means of service to the divine. That is the right spirit. This is so beautiful. It's what God has given. Whatever God has given, channel, inspiration, use it in service of the divine. Do not use it elsewhere. If it is not in the service of the divine, let your pen not flow. The same poet that I talked about, who was a friend of mine, later on I had to distance myself from him. He was once willing to lend his poetry for a political movement also. A political movement also. And then that poetry would be used for what? For creating divide, for creating destruction. What is the use of all of that? Is this poetic faculty going to be used for the divine or for getting mileage and pushing oneself ahead? That is an important thing. That is where many times poets go astray. We must remember Sri Aurobindo's guidance here. And never let there not be a desire to be great. Our Damliji also says it's like be an ordinary individual, leading an extraordinary life. And if we don't chase for greatness, and there's a beautiful Marathi quote, it says, don't run after greatness. You will not know when greatness comes and falls at your feet, but you will still not look at it. You will keep going, and the attitude is to serve the divine. That is how the writing should come. And then, if there's a genuine inspiration, you get that inspiration, you will know the flow comes. You get that, you write it. Or when there's a power of force enters inside of an individual, that is how you can write. But whatever you use, the service to the divine is the entire principle and fundamental spirit of writing for a sadhak. So let's continue. Nirodbaran. He writes, I went to Jay's place and came back feeling depressed. Could I have got the depression from her? Or did it come like that without any apparent reason? So say I felt depressed after going to somebody, Jay. Good, the name is hidden. After going there, did I catch the depression like catching a cold? Sri Aurobindo says both are possible. Means is it coming out of catching it or without any apparent reason? So Sri Aurobindo says both is possible. So without any reason also, we can sometimes, invite depression into our life. There's something, everything is going on well. And yet from somewhere, some thought connected to this, and the entire big smile on the face suddenly disappears and sorrow enters inside. So that is one. Or catching depression from somebody else. This is also possible, is what Sri Aurobindo says. So my question is, how do we look at this? Is it in fact it is infectious,
Only
like
if
a
we leave
virus?
ourselves open to it, if we don't shield when we talk, we like a
Huh.
sponge. Have to be very careful because you
Okay.
can literally, like germs, you just
Huh.
pick up on vibrations and you
Mhm.
absorb them. So
Gee.
yes, it's
Okay. So
very, very
Shrimati
easy.
feels it's very much possible. She
Yeah,
talked
it
about
is.
vibrations. Yes,
Yeah,
Aditi ji, yes?
yes, it is. In fact, this question has been going on in my mind also for some days. Like we meet somebody and we feel after meeting that our energy has gotten down. And it is
Yeah.
not because they said something to us but it we feel sad.
So
Yes, yes, it is what interchange of
it's like,
forces takes place. There are sometimes people who, like in Gita, we have no, Daivi Swabhava and Asuri Swabhava. Divine nature and the undivine nature. Undivine nature is like a zapping up of energies. You won't believe
yes.
one person, I spoke to him, I talked about Krishna's Butter project for 1 hour. The entire tour I had gone to Nagpur was for that purpose only, so I was not having any problem. And I was willing to go anywhere and talk, and I gave talks, and nothing came out of the talks. Also, I didn't have any trouble after traveling so far. But this individual came home. He was connected. He had an organization, and that organization's aim was to serve the same purpose. So there was an, you can say, a alignment of purpose. And I do not know, he came home and I spoke for 1 hour. I don't know what happened after that 1 hour because at the end he asked me one very funny question. So, what is it that you want after 1 hour? I said, what are your expectations? Is what he asked me. I said, sir, I have no expectations. It was very nice to just talk about this project here. Thank you. But the energy level was completely drained. I felt so bad. And then I lost my voice immediately after that. And I was like, wow, did that person have such a great tantric power to press mute button on my voice box? What was it just? It was something. It was, if it's possible. So we need to be careful where we are uttering our words, how much we are uttering our words. And probably that is why Gita also talks about Vaktapa. In the Bhagavad Gita's 18th chapter, Krishna talks about it that was speech also, austerity of speech, austerity of thought, austerity of deeds. Because we don't follow that, we lose our energies. A draining takes place. Yes,
Yeah,
Aditi, you
it's
were
like
saying something?
vampires sucking blood. They do that.
Oh,
No,
yeah, it's a
honestly,
good
there
imagery.
is an
Yeah, yeah,
expression. I've got a
yes.
couple of friends. You don't have to see them. They're very needy
Ah,
and on the phone. And after a
yeah.
while, can't say I've got to go or I've got to let you go kind of thing. So I just say, I'm so
Mhm.
sorry, I've got to go now. I've got other
Yeah,
things to do. Because by the
yeah.
end of the day, I'm totally on the carpet kind of thing. And
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
no-no. So I've
Yes, we have
learned
to
to say, I'm
insulate
sorry, I'm
ourselves, isn't
busy.
it? We have to
Yeah, you
insulate
have to.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Aditi was
Um,
adding something?
Yeah, I was just asking, like in the next point also, Shri Aurobindo has also mentioned, not intentionally, of course, like the other person is not intentionally doing it, but it's
Yeah,
the time or their energies or their own ignorance that they are going through. So what should we do?
yes.
Like we should distance ourselves. We should not
Um,
meet them
no,
that,
one thing is, yeah,
or we
I'll
should
just
be
come
so
to, I'll
strong
come to
that,
Majay in a moment.
yeah,
Yeah, yes, Jit?
yeah, or we should distance ourselves, or we should be so strong to overcome whatever they are
The
like
latter, the latter, the latter, the latter is always important, but until we reach that state, I don't think we should experiment, isn't it? Unless I am a good boxer, I will not enter into a boxing competition. No? I need to practice and learn, and then I know I can take punches and I can give also. Then it is fine. So, yes, Maji, you were saying something.
I'm so sorry, I've lost the thought, but
Okay,
when I come
fine.
back to it, I'll let you
Yes,
know.
see, yeah, sure,
I'm
sure.
going
Yes,
through that phase, sorry.
yeah, no, no problem. See, that's fine. And we just changed track immediately, so it happens to all of us. Let's continue. Nirodban, he writes, I think I read in conversations that depression is contagious, and one may get it just like the germs of a disease. Is it true? And what might have been the cause in my case? Sri Aurobindo replies, yes, she must have dropped it upon you. In brackets, not intentionally, of course. And also perhaps your vital forces went to her, leaving you for the moment empty. So this is one vital exchange taking place when we interact with people. It's very, very real. When we interact with people, there are individuals who will, you know, either complement your energies or completely drain your energies. It doesn't, it whatever may be the circumstance, we must be alert, because if it's contagious and like a disease, I think we must always protect ourselves from diseases, isn't it? So here it is clear that Krishna is, Sri Aurobindo is saying that. And this vital forces, most of the time, vital exchanges happen when the exchanges are on the level of emotions. So the emotions are flaring, one person's emotions, another person's emotions. Sometimes an individual may just be venting out and crying and wailing and all of it, and then we'll see that that person is feeling very happy after crying and wailing, and after some time it's like that person is quite satisfied. Yeah, पेट भर गया, now I'm तृप्त. But here it is the person who has received so much is not able to tolerate it because it's all entered. There's something of that sort, an exchange is taking place, and we got to, cut that flow and not drain ourselves. That's an important thing. Because here, Sharendra talked about becoming empty. Because it's like, I think the vampire example is not really bad. It's actually quite apt here, as what Shashi Maji just shared. Nirodbaran goes on. Since my coming here, I don't think I have ever had a good meditation. It begins in earnestness and ends in sleep with dreams. So this is the complaint to share with me. "Ye kaun sa yoga hai?" After coming here, I have not got a good meditation at all. It begins in, I sincerely begin, there's earnestness, but it's ending in sleep and dreams. Sri Aurobindo's reply, what kind of dreams? Nirodbaran continues. It is very difficult to say what kind of dreams they are. They are incomplete, incoherent, and indistinct. But I remember one. Some chickens were going out with their mother, and some crows appeared. Suddenly, one of them caught hold of a chicken and flew away. How on earth could such a dream take place, and what significance could it have? No matter what it is, he's writing sincerely, but this is a real luxury to be able to write to Sri Aurobindo such dreams. No? And look at the patience of Sri Aurobindo. What kind of dreams? And here he is. Boss is talking about chickens and crows. So some chickens were going about with their mother, and some crows appeared. One of them caught hold of a chicken and flew away. That's the dream. And he's asking Sri Aurobindo to interpret it and what is the significance. Sri Aurobindo replies, naturally, these dreams have no value except when they are symbolic. But it counts only as the beginning of an inward going movement. It is probable that you have begun to go inside and first get into a touch with a world very near to the physical and are seeing things there. So even this, Sri Aurobindo is identifying something interesting here. The state of dreams, it's a beautiful world. As you go consciously into sleep, you might start getting conscious dreams also. The sadhaks of Sri Aurobindo's ashram, or the followers, were told to study their dreams. Some of them would maintain a dream diary so that what you get in the dreams, like sometimes it really is very useful. And for me in life, I have many times seen that I got one dream, and then that dream, whether or not I understood significance, the person in the dream I have seen after a very long time, and then I've contacted that person. That has really helped very much because that person had an important role to play somewhere in a scheme of things that took place afterwards. So we have to try to become alert. But sometimes the dreams are absolutely random. I'm not trying to claim that every dream is a weekend. But here, in Dr. Nirodbaran's case, Sri Aurobindo says you are going inwards now. There's a movement. So in that, the first set of dreams that you are seeing are just basically on the starting stages. They are very much connected to the outer world. He is not yet connected to the inner realm. So, what we call impressions of the outer world, they are now visible in the dream, is what Shervindu is saying. And unless they are symbolic, there's not much value to these dreams. That is also one thing. Excuse me. Nirodbaran realizes, he says, I quite realize that there should be no craving for anything, but when a cup of tea is offered, can it be harmful to our sadhana? I thought it all depends on the attitude. So, so it has been told to stay away from tea, and we will hear Nirodban's tea saga beginning from here. The questions on tea are not going to stop. Take my word. Here, this way, that way, it is all going to come back to the tea. So this is the first time it has come. Nirodban is asking, I quite realize that there should be no craving for anything. I understand that. This is sadhana. But but when a cup of tea is offered, can it be harmful to our sadhana? I thought it all depends on the attitude. So Shervinda replies, but it's very sincere, isn't it? This young Dr. Nirodban he is not hiding some of the most beautiful aspects. This is one thing we must learn. We should not hide. We should never hide anything from the divine. And this sincerity, if we do not have the chance to directly interact with somebody as a guru or a guide, or if we are not having this opportunity to connect directly to Mother and Sri Aurobindo through writing, here, as in like the sadhaks, we can still connect with the divine, but we have to be open, at least to ourselves. At the end of the day, we have to be truthful and honest. And so here he has this craving. He's understood that craving is there. He's keeping it in front of his guru, and he says, "See, I understand, but if I really transcend it, I think I'll have to learn to overcome my craving for chocolates in this same manner. But I'll see. Let us see who loses it first, whether I lose it or share those correspondence. Nirodbaran will lose it. My wife will probably be a witness. Let's see. Nirodbaran continues. Sherbindo continues. He says, yes, but the attitude of craving can be encouraged by taking. If there is the right attitude, one can take, but one will perhaps not care to. So this is beautiful. He says, instead, you just you feed that craving, you will make it more. So but the attitude of craving can be encouraged by taking. That is the risk. So that is why Sri Aurobindo was telling it's better not take the tea. That's the hint. But Sri Aurobindo has not given an order. Don't take it, he has never said, because he is following the same Sanatan principle of freedom. Arjuna never received a direct order. So the indication is there that you have this tendency to take it, that craving is going to increase, so you better avoid. Because if there is a right attitude, one can take, but one will perhaps not care to. So that will be like water to a person who is having no craving, whether it is tea or whether it is water. It's not going to create any change in the consciousness. For such a person, it's okay. A lot of great yogis have had this habit of tea. And they have said, I have overcome everything except this, and then they hold on to that. Some of them. One person had once said, that is the only craving that is still binding me to my human nature. If I leave that, then I will not be, I want to continue holding on to it. So let us see what let's continue. Nirodbaran goes on. I do not quite understand what is meant by your vital forces went to her, leaving you for the moment empty. It's wonderful. We'll get to share in those words on what are these this phenomenon of draining of the vital. Let us see. Shervindo says there is always an interchange of vital forces going on between people. If you sit near one who is weak and depressed and needs vital force, you may have your forces pulled from you by his or her need and yourself feel depressed or weak or empty. It's actually it's a conscious force, a movement. It's like somebody is needy, then it's like a vacuum there created inside, and that vacuum is going to suck the forces. And the one who is having it, well, that person will lose if he does not control. Let's continue. So Nirodbaran, he goes on. And please feel free to interrupt anybody if you wish to at any point of time. Nirodbaran, he goes on. Is this vital interchange one of the reasons why many sadhaks segregate themselves? Sri Aurobindo replies, yes, not the drawing of vital forces alone, but the invasion by the ideas, feelings, atmospheres of others hampering the sadhana is one of the chief reasons of the turn towards segregation and solitude. So that is why many times in the Gita also Krishna has talked about getting away from these crowds. Meaning getting away from the crowds does not mean if somebody is his job and profession is to sell some items in a very crowded place. He should not quit his job. That's his dharma. But getting carried away by those, what we call herd mentality or by the crowd's thoughts, crowd's feelings, crowd's impressions. So sometimes these are all creating a kind of a sanskara. Like Nirodbaran saw something on the outside that created an impression, an imprint on him, which came out later in the dream. The crow and the bird. Like that, when we interact with people, when we exchange thoughts, exchange ideas, exchange emotions, exchange feelings, or spend time with people, these are all interchanges. And that's why some of the others don't want to touch other people also. They say, I don't want any interchange. I'll keep my show. That is my show. I draw a boundary for some reason because they are in the middle of a mission. They want to do something. They are working elsewhere, and suddenly that will create a difference. So here, yes, not the drawing of vital forces alone, but the invasion by ideas, feelings, atmosphere of others, hampering the sadhana. This is one of the chief reasons of the turn towards segregation and solitude. This is one of the reasons why many sadhaks segregate themselves. So I think Aditi ji, your question is answered, isn't it? Sri Aurobindo has answered it quite
But
clearly.
but he's saying that yes, because of this, some sadhaks they maintain solitude. But
Yeah.
should he be so strong that the vital forces don't affect?
Yes, it is. It is. It is. Means if you see Mother and Sri Aurobindo, when they would offer pranam, I think so many thousands of people would come to receive their blessings, isn't it? I think Maji is aware of it. Shashi Maji, you must have any idea how many people would come? Please unmute, ji. Please unmute. We can't hear you, ji. Bottom left corner, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, countless. I mean, the darshan used to start very early and it just carried on, and that smile on mother's face and
Yeah.
to that gentleness, it never wavered. You didn't have to be intelligent to just think, how does she do it?
Yeah.
How does she do it?
Yeah.
Throughout the day, the whole day up till
People
afternoon,
would get
whatever.
flowers. Would they get a chance? They would get a chance to touch the feet also, no?
Yes, you always did, but some people, I think one tended to forget that
Hmm.
human body, she was
Yeah.
delicate. And some
Yeah.
people, when they put their head on her feet and all that, one
Yeah.
had to be careful. But there were times when people were taking so long that that would be gently told,
Go.
move
Yes.
on.
And it would go
Ever
on for
so
hours, isn't it?
gentle.
For
Yeah, it
hours.
could go on for hours. Yes, yes, absolutely. But it was amazing, as a child, you standing in front of her. If it was prosperity day, then she would give you a dress. that had been stitched for you by the tailoring department, things
Yeah,
like that. It was very special. It was momentary, but it was still very, very special because that was just you and her.
yeah. Yes, yes, yes. So Majay has shared something very beautiful, isn't it? Aditi, did that not answer the question? They had such a great reserve and they had learned how to, insulate themselves. Otherwise, it's not possible, even at a very advanced age, also at that time, also to spend so many hours and interacting. And so many people received the blessings. You should see the writings of so many people or experiences of having met the mother. What experiences they got. People have written their spiritual experiences. So if they're giving it, it is probably connected now with the Supreme Consciousness only, isn't it? Without draining.
Yeah,
So we have to probably figure out the way to insulate
yeah.
ourselves because we
During
can't run away
Christmas,
from the world. Yes, Ji?
yeah, during Christmas at the theater, what's called the theater,
Yeah.
she used to sit there giving out presents. There used to be a massive queue. She was giving out presents, and then there used to be a little, what we call fairy cake now.
Okay.
It was baked, and everybody got one along with a present.
Ah, yes, yes, yes,
So
absolutely.
that was very special as well.
Yes. Ji. Yes, Ji. Thank you for sharing. So I think, Aditi ji, yes, we have to learn to not get drained also. But the reason why people avoid is because they do not want to lose the like draining. And when Sherwindo was doing his intense sadhana, for I think 17 years, isn't it? He did not meet anybody. It was
Yeah, a
inside of
long
his room.
time.
It was, yeah, very long time. Because there was an exchange and drain, like it's not required when somebody has a work and it's like when we are concentrated and doing some work consciously, we don't want any other disturbance, isn't it? We avoid it. We avoid when I'm doing some drawing, for instance. I would like, hey, stay away. I don't want any other thought. When you don't want thoughts also coming in between. So something like that. It is why these people prevent because exchanges lead to creation of new sanskaras, and a yogi is trying to go to a state of without sanskara. You're trying to erase all sanskaras first. Why create new and create layers and layers? That is why they avoid.
Mm.
So now the next question is there by Sherwin or Nirodbaran. A very beautiful question for sadhana. Now, this one of the best aspects of this book is that this will introduce us to the entire world of yoga of Sherwindo in a very simple manner, very practical manner it is. So Nirodbaran goes on. He says, how to increase the vital resistance by which these indrawings or outgoings can be prevented. Sherwindo replies, it is partly by being vigilant and having a self protecting will, partly by a capacity to call in and replenish the forces at any moment that one can best meet the difficulty. So beautiful. Two aspects. One is becoming vigilant. Who is draining my consciousness? Who is draining my energies? Are we going to say, hey, enemy, come backstab me? Here's my back. This is not what we do, isn't it? When you discover somebody is attacking you or it's like attacking you, no? Draining your consciousness, draining your spirit, draining
Yeah.
your vitality. There are people who try to, your most beautiful divine moments, your purest inspirations and happiest moments also, there are people who can come and spoil them. They can try to zap all the beautiful moment of your existence. So they become your enemies, they become your shatras. So, first thing is become vigilant. Becoming vigilance means you're aware. Have a self protecting will. That is number one, means protect yourself from such individuals. That is important. And the second one is more beautiful, which Sherbindo is talking about. Because yes, draining is taking place, but have improve the capacity, build the capacity to call in and replenish the forces at any moment that one may best meet the difficulty. Meaning now It's all right. The outflow in physics, we had flow problems, isn't it? Many times. Outflow is at this rate. Well, increase the inflow. Increase the inflow so that it is no more, it is perfectly balanced. So, if you are having such a beautiful channel, if you are connected with the divine, you're getting the inspiration from there, no matter how much people can live with a parasitic force also and not lose anything because their connection is with the divine. No matter how much draining is being done, yet the individual keeps connecting with the divine. There's a very interesting relation of Tukaram and his son Tukaram and his wife. Son Tukaram kept trying to, convince his wife about that path, but she was not willing at all. And yet, and every time, Kada, Kada, she would call his Vithala, that dark-skinned person, in a very bad manner. And here he is loving and adoring him. It does not matter. And it is something which is, Saura Vithala is respected and loved so much, but she would sometimes tell it to him in a very different manner. So basically, at home only, she was having somebody who was draining his consciousness. She never really recognized. Yet he kept his abhangas were filled with such consciousness. With meaning of abhanga itself is that which cannot be destroyed. So his poetry was like abhanga because he connected with that consciousness of the divine, and that force was always, raising him. So we can become a source of, we can become a beacon of that light that no matter what, it cannot be drained at all. It was very interesting. Even in the last moment when he got this chance to attain a samadhi, he had developed so much of his punya and so much energies that he offered his wife that you will also come with me. She said, no, I don't want to come. You go. But it didn't matter, isn't it? So to him, it didn't matter, so it will not matter to us if we develop the way of replenishing. How do we do it? It's up to us. There are different markers of connecting with the divine. Some of the simple yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, all different ways, or just surrender and call upon the divine in simple words of Sri Aurobindo. Develop that capacity of calling in. Whenever there is a loss, replenish that loss with the divine. Nirodbaran, he goes on. I tried to meditate, but I had to simply give it up. And sleep came in, and and with it, what confused dreams. So I tried to meditate, but I had to give up. And then sleep came in. Right? And what confused dreams came in that sleep? Sri Aurobindo has written, he has replied, when you cannot meditate, remain quiet and call in the mother's peace or force. So this is beautiful. If you cannot meditate also, it's all right. Call in the force and peace of the mother. Become quiet. This is Sri Aurobindo's Mahavakya for us. It's all right if I cannot meditate. Just call in the force of the mother. Sometimes think of the mother, call her by the name. Mamba, Lalita Devi, Jagadambe, Janani, Namastasya, 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 Namo Namo, Mamba, Lalita Devi, Brahmananda Sagari. Means this peace and the force of the divine is something must be invoked. Meditation will happen naturally. It will become a consequence as you receive that peace. Nirodbaran, he goes on further. He says, about that legal action in courts, I do not know exactly what they intend. I suppose they would like very much to have a personal warrant issued and so get me back for some debts. So looks like some legal action has been, some case has been filed against Nirodbaran and he is threatened of some legal action. Sri Aurobindo replies, Pondicherry is a place where people often come as a refuge because there can be no personal warrant or debts against them here. That was the time, no, before India's independence in Pondicherry. So Pondicherry was ruled by the French. So some of them would come, and not everybody had come for sadhana like Sri Aurobindo. Many had come to escape just personal debts also. So here, that is what the master has written. He says, Pondicherry is a place where people often come as a refuge. But even today also people come as a refuge for multiple reasons, not necessarily only for spiritual reasons. Because there can be no personal warrant for debts against them here. I knew a Parsi from Bombay loaded with debts who was here for 3 or 4 years and only went back after his affairs were settled by others in Bombay itself. So he waited for cases to get over and then went away. Then Nirodbaran, he writes, whenever I receive letters from friends, I go into ecstasies and am constantly thinking of what I should write, etc. Evidently, such an upsetting is not good for our sadhana, is it? But perhaps one can indulge in a little exuberance when friends seem to aspire for a divine life. Oh, he's got good friends, huh? So his friends would contact whenever he would get letter from friends. I think that time they were more connected, isn't it? Then today we have such great digital connections, and yet we feel disconnected. And these letters used to come, and that would really inspire him. He says, I would go into ecstasies, constantly thinking, what should I write? Because this kind of upsetting of the mood is not right, is what he is asking. But can I not indulge a little bit of exuberance when friends want to aspire for a divine life? So these are nice friends who want to aspire for divine life. How many of us have such friends who are aspiring for divine life? No?
Not many, if
I
any.
think everybody is shaking their heads. I think we are all common in that matter then, isn't it? Very few, it is very rare privilege to have somebody, a friend, a partner, a colleague who is interested in a divine life like what we are leading. Even childhood friends also, it's very difficult. One friend of mine, I met him in the hospital. He had become a doctor, most mischievous boy in class. He is now a doctor. He came to see my father who was in the ICU, and afterwards he told me, hey, buddy, come here. You'll have coffee, or now after spirituality, you have this all is gone. So I said, yeah, yeah, everything. I have stopped eating, I have stopped drinking, I don't have any daily nature calls also because of spirituality only. Because the idea of Adhyatma is not there only. That is a normal thing actually. It is probably a design, isn't it? Since it is common. I think Aditi ji also is shaking her head. Rachna, whoever is having the video call on have shook their head and said it is very rare. Anybody else whose videos are off also might agree. But it is a normal thing. It is not everybody chooses the path. In the Gita also, Krishna has talked about it. So very few in so many get that inner call. And now that and few who got that get that inner call, very few pay heed to that call and move ahead. So anyway, let's come back to the question. So it says, can I not indulge a bit in the exuberance for my friends who want to lead a divine life? Let us see. Sherwindo replies, it is not likely to be much of an obstacle. But there should be no attachment or depression if it does not happen as you would like. So this, the master who is very experienced is telling the young sadhak, there should not be. Go ahead. And Krishna also says, "No, somebody who wants to know, tell it, tell it. But while telling, suddenly don't think they have now subscribed to you completely. So here, there should not be any attachment or depression if it does not happen as you would like. So then there's no harm. At least this much we can see. Sri Aurobindo says, it's all right. Talk to your friends. He's not saying keep it fully secret or don't speak anything. Speak, but don't get attached or don't get depressed also. Nirodbaran goes on. When I get up in the morning, I find that the previous day's sadhana is forgotten. What should be done to keep up the continuity? He has so many interesting questions. Let's see what Sri Aurobindo replies. The gap made by the night and the waking with the ordinary consciousness is the case with everybody, almost. Of course, the ordinary consciousness differs according to the progress. But it is no use wanting to be conscious in sleep. You have to get the habit of getting back the thread of the progress as soon as may be. And for that, there must be some concentration after rising.
Sushruti, I didn't get that line. Thread of progress.
Yes. Huh?
Thread
Yeah,
of
I'll repeat.
progress.
Thread of progress. Means it is like a sutra connection from the past it's like carry forward. I'll just repeat it once more, Ji. The gap made by the night and waking with the ordinary consciousness is the case with everybody almost. Of course, the ordinary consciousness differs according to the progress. This part is clear, isn't it? Now, next. But it is no use wanting to be conscious in sleep. You have to get the habit of getting back the thread of the progress as soon as may be. And for that, there must be some concentration after rising. So here he is feeling like he's losing the thread. He's losing the previous day's sadhana, what he has done. So that has to be revived. Okay, Rashnaji, is that okay? Yeah. And for that, he says there should be some concentration after waking up, after rising also. At night, you have to pass into sleep in concentration. At night, you have to pass into sleep in the concentration. You must be able to concentrate with the eyes closed, lying down, and concentration must deepen into sleep. That is to say, sleep must become a concentrated going inside away from the outer waking state. If you find it necessary to sit for a time, you may do so, but afterwards lie down, keep the concentration till it happens. This is lovely for a lot of people who are having difficulties in sleeping. There's no need for if people don't get sleep also it's all right, but being able to concentrate and go inwards, because that is a beautiful thing. I think it was my grandmother who had told me once that when you go to sleep, then your soul is now talking to the divine when you have gone to sleep. And very recently, I think there was a very beautiful experience connected to, I think, Mr. Lalit Verma. He is a wonderful student of Sri Aurobindo Ashram. A story of his was one article was shared. So his teachers had a complaint that he used to sleep. I think Shashiji knows him or something, Maji?
He's Shahnaz's husband. Shahnaz was my friend while I was
Okay,
there. We grew up
okay.
together.
Oh, lovely.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
I just got to meet him recently, and then we somehow connected. And then his paper, I read about his story. So he's a very wonderful global Indian and someone who is, integrating art and beyond boundaries, bringing people music and everything in the light of the divine. He has a gallery called Aradhan. But anyway, back to his story. His teacher had complained that he used to go into sleep in the class, and not just sleep, it seems to the deep sleep. So that was what the message had gone to the mother, that this child is going into deep sleep during the class while the class is going on. You will not believe what the mother said. The mother has told the teacher that do not disturb him, for that is when he comes to me. What a beautiful, and that is when he's coming and meeting me. That is what she said, and probably that was happening. And this was not just sleep out of laziness or a tamasic inertial sleep, and the mother could understand it. So if we are conscious, If we are conscious, we will be able to experience what is this, what the Adi Shankaracharya in Shiva Manas Puja says, Nidra Samadhi Sthiti. What is this sthiti of Samadhi? That can be experienced as we go into a sleep. And Sri Aurobindo talks about it. He says, right after waking up, also concentrate. While going in, also slowly enter into that concentration. It's a beautiful way to get into a very rejuvenated and refreshed sleep. What we call, there are two types of sleeps, they say, according to scientists also. They don't understand about the Jagrati, Sushupti, and all the other states. The four states are not known to scientists, but they also agree there are two types, what we call the rapid eye movement sleep and the other sleep, which is a what is the other one? I don't remember it. I think I read it in eighth or ninth class. I'm just recollecting after that today. REM sleep and another is a deep sleep. So the deep sleep actually rejuvenates you. The other one is just a tired one, which does not really give you too much. And I think we must have also noticed in our life, isn't it? When a lot of pressures are going on and we try to sleep in those pressures, in our sleep also we are not stable and steady. We're just fluttering. It's never really rejuvenating. Here, it's about becoming conscious. And do not worry about becoming aware. When I'm awake, I should remember who is walking around or anything. It's not required. But going in, that is something special. Let's continue. Nirodbaran, he goes on. He says, I go to the ashram for meditation. About an hour after I rise, is this not rather late for getting back the thread of the progress? Sri Aurobindo replies, we need not meditate at once, but for a few minutes take a concentrated attitude, calling the mother's presence for the day. So again, this is so simple. If people just say, what is the use just sitting and doing ma, ma, ma? It's not, it is something. This is smaran. Smaran of the divine is so powerful. Just remembering the divine. Whichever Aradhya it may be ours, let us have the Smaran. And let Smaran comes from the heart. It is beautiful. It is something which is very good to, revive a person completely. So have that attitude is what Krishna is saying. Concentrate. It's all right for a few minutes. I mean, it's not like so elaborate, isn't it? You must do this only or that only, but at least a few minutes. But let those few minutes be very sincere few minutes. And as far as sincerity, you don't need anybody else to tell you what sincerity is. You know what it is. And you have to only achieve it and experience it. Let's continue. Nirodbaran goes on. He says, last night I was trying to concentrate in bed with the eyes closed. I suddenly woke up. And the first thought is that I had been able to concentrate for long. And it did not look like sleep, as there was no dazed or queer feeling as one usually has in sudden wakings. I have no experience of what going inside is like. Maybe this is the thing. Sri Aurobindo has underlined the last sentence to that question. He says, yes, only not yet a conscious going inside that has to come. So he says, अभी शुरुआत हो गई है. Beginning has come and Sri Aurobindo has also underlined it. I sometimes feel, oh wow, how lucky, and how special it is to have this correspondence with Sri Aurobindo, isn't it? We don't get this kind of correspondence even with our own close, dear ones and friends also. Everybody is in such a busy Mayavi loop that they are not able to find the time to communicate this way. And look at the master who has 100,000 communications. He is dealing with so many things, and yet look at the sincerity of that communication. Every line, every word of Nirodbaran he has read. He is sincerely, he's even underlining, better this is it. And yet it's not all of it. So you have started, but journey is still ahead. Nirodbaran goes on. He says, I mean, one thing, if before we go in, as Krishna says, no, yat yat acharati shrestha. Who are these great ones? They become the examples for us. I think this way should also develop, isn't it? That if Sri Aurobindo is having the time in his life to look at the small, intricate details of some of the most useless, with all due respect, but this chicken, this many chickens and these many crows, they came in my dream, somebody is saying this. And yet, if Sri Aurobindo is able to take the time out to read and listen, and I mean, to just take words properly as someone like Nirodbaran is able to offer. I think we can also try to do this, isn't it? Whoever comes to us in our life, no matter how busy we are, we don't have to lose our duties or forsake our duties. But we should not be so much in a hurry that we forget to really communicate. Who knows, the divine may be wanting to communicate to us through someone, and we are only saying, go away. I am busy in my Mayavi world. I don't have time for God. I don't think we should do that. And I've got some very nice experiences of some very, very busy and very, very senior people. They are able to understand and listen to small things. Even diverging views, they are not impatient. They're able to hear it and quietly listen to it. Like one example I can say is Arun Tiwari sir. Very lucky to have a friend. I've just tried to replicate some of this bhava of Nirodhan writing whenever I get a chance. Sometimes disagreements, all that is there, but let us follow Sri Aurobindo's principle at least that we be sensitive, we be alert and conscious in our words and communication, whoever it is. It may be somebody senior, maybe somebody junior. The sincerity is there, sincerity must be reciprocated with sincerity. Let's continue. What Sri Aurobindo says here, he says, yeah, Nirodban goes on. He says, the rest of the night also passed in a kind of constant remembrance. But in between, I had an unhappy dream which I completely forgot. I woke up in the morning feeling spiritless without any apparent reason. Then it struck me that it was perhaps the effect of the dream working beneath the surface. So he got a bad dream and he forgot what it is, but waking up, he was not having. These are the early journeys, no? What we call starting trouble in sadhana. And he is sharing it because we will also maybe experience the same thing when we take our first steps. Nirvana replies, its effect, yes, but you ought to shake it off at once and not allow it to trouble you. So, whatever dreams they are, it's not important. Shake them off. Dr. Nirodbaran, he says, by saying that I seem to have become quieter, did you mean that my vital physical is not so clamorous? Or is it an inner quiet of the psychic? He wants a certificate. Why did you say quieter? Again, he says, did you mean my vital physical is not so glamorous? Or is it an inner quiet of the psychic? What is this quietude that I have achieved? Sri Aurobindo replies, Mother meant simply that there was less restlessness of the mind and the vital during the meditation, as you yourself felt. So there's less restlessness of the mind and the vital during the meditation. Then I think we'll stop with the next one, which is on 18th April 1933. We'll stop with that. Today at Pranam, you did not keep your hand on my head as you usually do. If there is any twist, I will at once set it right. So Nirodhara is saying, okay, there's something wrong in me. I will make it all right. But you did not touch my head because of something wrong. Sri Aurobindo replies, there was no such significance. Period. Full stop. So this is the mind which is always doubting, no? What we can say, Sanshaya. Or as Arjuna said in the Gita, Chanchalam hi manaha Krishna. The mind is chanchala, always moving around like that. So with this, I think we conclude our session today. If anybody can share some of the points that we can take home with us today, we conclude to meet again next Saturday. Yes, Anjali ji?
Um, how there should be no desire to be a great writer, and one should use writing as a
Yeah,
means of service to the divine.
yes, yes.
That was one
Okay, ji.
takeaway.
Desire for greatness is not something we should have. Desire to be greatly available for the divine, completely available for the divine, fully available for the divine's work. That is all we should have. It is an aspiration of one's real beautiful inner wish that we should have, that I should be available for the divine. Whether the divine uses for whatever purpose, that's not my call or not my lookout. Yes, this was one takeaway. Yes, anybody would like to add further?
I liked another point from Nirodbaran that
Yes.
he came back to the tea thing, which has been happening since the chapter one, I
Sorry?
guess. Nirodbaran has been talking about tea on and off all the time.
Tea, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he asked again Shri Aurobindo, and Shri Aurobindo said it's good not to take. So here
Mhm.
the significance was about the free will. He said it's good not to take to avoid it because then like addiction
You'll
or
encourage
whatever.
it. You'll
Yeah,
encourage
exactly.
the craving.
Yeah. So we saw that even in the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna has
Yes.
also mentioned this is what should be done. He's not forcing Arjuna to do anything. So this divinity gives us the chance of free will and what we wanna do. So that point I observed.
Yeah. All right, Joji. Yes, please. So that's another point which we see. We should not give in to our cravings. After that, probably when we are beyond it, it's not going to make any difference. Tea, water, wine, whatever it is going to be the same. Provided you reach that stage. Otherwise, there's no point to take little bit and then encourage it further. Your consciousness is going to be then taken over by your cravings. Yes, that was one more. So all desires are not good. In the Gita also, Krishna has told same thing. Shravan also is saying the same thing. In sadhana, we don't want any desires. They become a hurdle. And here we see about impressions being created. Impressions out of desires and attachments become very strong. And then they are very difficult to remove. Or a sadhak, why does anybody, can you just tell me why does a sadhak go focus on removing impressions or sanskaras? Why is it necessary?
Become
Because,
karma bandhan mukta.
Sorry? Juiji, you said something? I missed it.
Yeah, to become bandhan mukt, like
To
karma
become
bandhana mukt.
free.
We also saw that in Bhagavad Gita that we should be
But now
not
tea, why will
affected by all the
what bandhana will tea give me, provided apart from probably the bill which I'm going to be footing for the tea, what other bandhanas
it's
are
sort
going
of
to
an
be created?
attachment. It's sort of an
Ah,
attachment. So, like, only
okay,
desire that we should be having is to serve to the divinity, right? Or
okay.
to be
So
attached to the divinity. So, like, technically, always this is Maya in case, then there shouldn't be any attachment apart from the attachment from the with the divinity action. That's what my take is. I'm not sure though,
okay. So
because
this is a
all of
very
the karmas
high
are
standard, no?
affecting us. Yeah,
Yeah.
but all the karmas are affecting us in one way or other. So, like, there was one particular term, I think, bandhan muk or karm bandhan muk, so that whatever karma we are doing, it should not
Naishkarmya
add on.
Siddhi in the
Yeah,
Gita.
exactly.
Okay. Right, right. Just look at what a high standard is kept forward in front of us in sadhana, isn't it? We have to be completely free. then we can experience what is a divine life, because there is something ahead. It is not something which is being done just randomly. It is consciously we are removing our attachments so that we become available for the divine, or so that we become ready instruments to serve the divine and experience what we call the divine life. As Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam. My life, my karma, my birth is divine. And somebody who realizes this divinity becomes free. So this is why we have to lead that life divine. So that is why these are all sacrifices, isn't it? Made little aspects of tyaga which are done by the individual. By this young sadhak, look at a young Nirodbaran who could have anyway, after completing his, I think, FRCA in UK. What a opportunity. In 1933, he would have been one of the very rare few Indians doing this. And yet, he is choosing the sadhana because that is a very strong aspiration of the soul. So we can aspire wherever we are. That is the beauty of this yoga. But when we are aspiring, we have to be truthful. We have to come to terms with it, because if you do not clear it today, tomorrow it will create troubles for you in the forward movement. You will get trapped in it. Even Shrivinda says you can have fun, you can indulge, you want to talk to your friends, you want to write something nice and explain to them little exuberance is okay. But again, there should be no attachment in that also. No depression should come in if they don't follow what your works are. So that was one more point that we saw. Yes, anybody would like to add something? We look at that and then we will some more points if you can recollect, and then we conclude. Anybody?
Be
Uh,
careful in guarding yourself of leaching of energy
Yeah,
and exchanging
vital
energies.
exchange.
Yeah, have to be very,
Yes,
very careful.
yes. We have to be careful. We don't want people to zap us of our creativity, zap us of our
Mm.
good enthusiasm. And one more interesting point Shaivinda talked about is call upon the divine to replenish whatever is lost.
Yes, absolutely.
Because at times, despite taking all the care, when the forces are strong, you have done all that is right and still it can become wrong. But at that time,
Mm.
hold on to the divine, call upon the divine will replenish. One very nice book I came across, about an author. It's Triple Negative. I'm yet to read it. It's about a sadhak who overcame her cancer journey. Cancer through sadhana. And that she has written in the book. It's going to be released in a conference where I got an opportunity to go to. But this a very beautiful how a person can call upon the divine to again replenish energies that are lost. Rigveda, what are these? My cattle are stolen, is what the rishis call upon Indra. So who is Indra? Who is Indra? Who is retrieving cattle? What cattle is he? What is he doing when he's retrieving them?
uh,
Can we imagine Indra hike, bringing cattle? No, isn't it?
Senses.
Like in the village, the light that is lost. Yes, Rashnaji, you were saying something.
Indra uh, will be a metaphor for the senses, like
Illumined mind. Yes, he's the one, the master of the Indriyas. He is the somebody who is the Adi, is the Deva who is the in charge of all of the Indriyas. So he is able to bring forth the lights that are of illumination. The dawns that are lost are again brought by the Deva because the Rishi is invoking and calling. So, of course, a lot of people misinterpreted the Vedic interpretations, thinking these rishis are suddenly obsessed with wealth, material wealth. It was not material wealth, it was a spiritual wealth. It was a draining of that light. I want that light to return to me. Help me, O God, is the aspiration. So when the great Vedic rishis can call upon the divine, of course, we too can definitely call upon the divine. There's no harm at all, and we can replenish whatever energies we have lost. Let the cheerfulness come back to us again. So, yes, that is one more. If no other points are there for today, we can conclude with the Shanti mantra.
Concentration while waking up in the morning and while
Yeah,
getting into sleep also, one needs to
yeah.
concentrate on the divine.
Yeah, like that example that we heard of, Ms. Lalit Vermaji's. Let's go and meet the mother or the divine when we go to sleep. No matter how old we are, we'll always be kids for our parents, isn't it? So we can just like think when we are going to sleep, we are going into the womb of the mother only. And like a child, sleep like what is sleep? We say sleep like a baby, isn't it? Fully relaxed, fully confident that we're being taken care of by the divine. Enter into that state, and as we go quietly, that is the Shanti. That is the fourth state of consciousness in the Mandukya. Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam, Chaturtham Manyante, Satma, Savigneya. That quietude. Let us experience it when we try to go to sleep. And also, as Rachna said, when we wake up. So, with this, let us conclude on this note. Hari Om. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् हरि ओम तत्सत् वन्दे जगद्गुरु पुनर्मिलामः हरि ओम
Thank you for your time, Sushruti.
थैंक यू जी
Good
थैंक यू
night.
ऑल ऑफ यू
Hari
थैंक यू
Om
जी
Thank you.
Sushruti.
नमस्कार
Thank you,
हरि
everybody.
ओम जी नमस्कार थैंक यू